You are now watching The Meech.
2024 has been a rather light year for Nintendo. There isn't much in the pipeline, leading a lot to speculate that the Nintendo Switch 2 is on the horizon. Now, we've had light years before, but this year has a game that is way more important than people think it is, and is essentially a brand new series from Nintendo, that being Princess Peach Showtime. It was first revealed in the legendary June 2023 Nintendo Direct. The fact that Princess Peach was getting a new game nearly 2 decades after Super Princess Peach, that was very exciting. I didn't think Nintendo would make another Peach game, but here we are with Nintendo showcasing once again that they're willing to revisit dormant series or make sequels to games that haven't seen an entry in close to a quarter century. But the thing is, Princess Peach Showtime is not a sequel to Super Princess Peach. In fact, it's an entirely different game. The best way to put it is that if New Super Luigi U is Super Princess Peach, then Luigi's Mansion would be Princess Peach Showtime. There's potential for a new series here, and considering there isn't a precedent, and that Princess Peach Showtime is an entirely new experience, I was very interested to check out the demo, and also make a video about it. I'm definitely doing a full Trash or Treasure episode on Princess Peach Showtime, so consider this a Trash or Treasure mini. I've seen a lot of different opinions about Princess Peach Showtime. Some love it, others consider it enjoyable, but my pal T&D specifically was livid and hated the game. And he's not the only one either. It's a little bit polarizing, which made me even more interested to check it out. After I played the demo, the question is Princess Peach Showtime the peachy new game we needed? Is it as sour as a grape? And could there be potential for a new series? Princess Peach Showtime starts off with an opening cutscene where Princess Peach and the Toads go to Sparkle Theater. I've discussed how Toad has usually been replaced by Blue and Yellow Toad in the Super Mario Bros. Games. Now I see Toad as one character, just like how Green Yoshi is, despite Yoshi being a species. So why are there 2 identical Toads that look like Toad? Reminds me of the intro to Donkey Kong Jr., where there are 2 Marios for some unexplained reason. Now, there should have been a yellow and a blue Toad here. Or better yet, Toad and Toadsworth. It's not a big deal, but I found it really weird. But uh-oh, Bowser gets mad and wreaks havoc on Sparkle Theater. Then Mario has to... Wait a minute. Bowser isn't the villain, and Mario is surprisingly nowhere to be found. Mario is missing. Instead, a new villain, Grape, and her minions, the Sour Bunch, take over the theater. Peach then loses her signature crown and teams up with the theater guardian Stella to save Sparkle Theater. Stella then gives Peach a bow to wear, which unlocks 3 new mazes. Pretzels are now fruit, and it becomes one of the most iconic arcade games of all time. Oh wait, that's Miss Pac-Man. No, the bow introduces new abilities for Peach. There are some similarities to Super Mario Odyssey, 2 characters teaming up, gaining new powers with a hat or bow. You might just think this is the Peach version of Super Mario Odyssey, but the gameplay is entirely different. Going into Princess Peach Showtime, I wasn't even sure what kind of game it was going to be. Is it a platformer? A 3D platformer? A beat 'em up? Actually, it's a little bit of all of them, but the best way to describe it is an action-adventure game, which essentially means it's genreless. It's a way to describe a game that you can't exactly pinpoint the genre of. The Luigi's Mansion series instantly comes to mind, and even the last Paper Mario games are action-adventure games. Nintendo even said so themselves when Paper Mario Color Splash was revealed.
In the Paper Mario series, we always challenge ourselves to bring something fresh to the action-adventure genre. Action-adventure genre.
And that still haunts my nightmares. The fact the last 3 Paper Mario games are action-adventure games might be intimidating when it comes to Princess Peach Showtime, because what it can often mean is a game lacks direction and could be a hodgepodge of ideas many of which just don't work out. Though to be fair, I quite enjoyed Paper Mario the Origami King. But on the flip side, the Luigi's Mansion games are excellent and have a clear direction. There's nothing else like them. That's what makes them so unique. That's why it's hard to pinpoint an exact genre. I've seen a few say Princess Peach Showtime is directionless, and that it doesn't know what it wants to be, and just mixes a bunch of ideas. And I'm hoping that isn't the case. What Princess Peach Showtime primarily is a side-scroller. What you're mainly doing is running, jumping, and attacking enemies. There's a lot of interactivity with the environments, things such as making flowers bloom, making the new Theets happy again, growing wheat and strawberries. It's all quite satisfying. There's not a whole lot of platforming, so I wouldn't call it a platformer, but the claim to fame of Showtime is that Peach can take on new abilities for different plays. There are two in the demo, being Sword Fighter Peach and Patisserie Chef Peach. The first level has a Sour Bunch causing havoc by placing thorny brambles all over the level, and the way to take them out is with Sword Fighter Peach. Considering she's a sword fighter now, she is perfect for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This level is all about taking out the Sour Bunch and chopping down the brambles. It's similar to a beat 'em up, and it's really fun playing as Sword Fighter Peach. She can jump higher, and using the sword is quite satisfying. You can even dodge attacks a la Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which slow down time. The second play is the Festival of Sweets. This is where Patisserie Peach is in the spotlight, but this level is nothing like the first one. Instead of beating up the Sour Bunch and taking out brambles, Peach is baking cookies and decorating cakes. Making cookies requires you to time when they're done by holding and letting go of the button. It seems too easy, but getting the timing down perfectly provided to be harder than it looks. Nothing super challenging, but it is engaging. The next portion has Peach decorating cakes. Your goal is to match the designs as quickly and as precisely as possible. This is the most challenging part of the demo, hands down. Getting the precision down perfectly might take you a few tries, and that's good. My main concern is that the game would be mind-numbingly easy. While it is easy, there's still a nice element of challenge that prevents it from being a snooze fest and a game you can play with your brain turned off. The main challenge is going to be obtaining all the sparkles and levels, and the bow. In total, there are 11 collectibles per level. Some you'll find by just exploring the level, but others you can get by completing the challenges. When you're making cookies, you'll need to make enough to fill up the entire meter in order to get all the sparkles. Things like the big purple coins in Super Mario Bros. Wonder and flowers in Yoshi's Island, I'm always a fan of. They encourage exploration, and I love 100%ing those games. Obtaining all the collectibles in Princess Peach Showtime is one of the highlights, and I have a feeling it'll be a game I'd want to 100%. Having the transformations and unique levels is great, but the additional collectibles add depth that the game needed. The demo for Princess Peach Showtime is about 25 to 30 minutes, but you can easily get more mileage out of it if you're going for 100%. It's a pretty great demo, and does a good job showcasing what to expect in the full game. Most Nintendo Switch demos are like that though I do bring this up, because the recent Mario vs. Donkey Kong demo is absurdly short, and doesn't give players enough to determine if they'll like the full game. Though I can absolutely recommend Mario vs. Donkey Kong. With Princess Peach Showtime, I have a pretty good idea about how I'll feel about the full game with the demo. The levels play very differently, and don't stick to one gameplay style. A criticism I've seen is that this means there's no consistency. If it were a mix of mediocre or bad gameplay styles, then I would find it to be an issue, but I've enjoyed the two levels a lot and found them to be just as fun, despite how different they were. And with all the variety, the game is going to stay fresh. The gameplay of Princess Peach Showtime is interesting and pretty fun. Considering how many different ideas there are, I can see how some didn't like the demo or weren't sure how to feel about it. But based on my experience, I found it to be fun and intriguing, and I'm looking forward to the full game just to see what surprises the levels will throw at me. I have no idea why, but Nintendo recently doesn't announce who's developing a game before it's released. We didn't know who was developing Princess Peach Showtime, until now that is. The developers of Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yoshi's Woolly and Crafted World Good Feel are behind Princess Peach Showtime, and it definitely feels like a Good Feel production. They're known to have a theme and go all out with it, be it yarn or arts and crafts, and with Princess Peach Showtime, the theme is theater. All the levels are plays and are designed to look like actual stages complete with props. It's a very unique theme, and it gives Princess Peach Showtime its own identity. Visually, I love the theming, and the designs for the props and stages are excellent. But unfortunately, there are two aspects that prevent me from being truly impressed by it. The resolution of Princess Peach Showtime is shockingly low. It appears to be at 720p, sometimes lower. I'm fine with the game being at 30 frames per second, but there has to be a reason for it. Luigi's Mansion 3 is 30 frames per second, but it went for the highest resolution possible, and it looks incredible. But Princess Peach Showtime is 30 frames per second, and is low resolution. It doesn't look as good as it could have, and weirdest of all, there are performance issues, most notably in the game cutscenes. When Peach transforms, the animation is incredibly choppy, and when she's talking to Stella, it's not smooth. Thankfully, the performance issues don't impact the actual gameplay, and everything was at a solid 30 frames per second for me. It's nowhere near as bad as something like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but remember, that is not a standard. I have no idea what the heck happened in terms of performance and resolution. Yes, the levels look nice. Peach's model in the game looks lovely. But other Nintendo games have way more taxing graphics, yet aren't at a low resolution, or have choppy animations. I'm hoping that it's fixed in the final game, but as it stands, it is very weird. I don't understand why Showtime would have any issues with resolution and performance, and it's not good. Princess Peach Showtime was made using Unreal Engine 4, so the only factor I could possibly think of is that Unreal Engine 4 might not be as optimized as well as Nintendo's in-house engines for Switch games, but Pikmin 4 used Unreal Engine, yet managed to look and perform great. Even Yoshi's Crafted World fared well, albeit it could have looked better in handheld mode. At least the music is decent, nothing spectacular, but it suits the levels well and sounded good. Another thing I noticed is that Peach sounds off.
What's wrong? Yes, that's Peachy.
She almost sounds emo. Now I expect that from Rabid Rosalina, but I expect Peach to be much more cheery and energetic. Maybe it has to do with Samantha Kelly getting older, but regardless, it just sounds off. There's also a lot of text and dialogue, but no voice acting. Resolution and performance could potentially improve before the game releases, but full voice acting won't be in the game. And it definitely should have been. We saw the talking flowers in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, so I don't understand why we couldn't have it here. The presentation is so damn conflicting. On one hand, I love the theming and designs for the levels, but on the other hand, it's at a low resolution and doesn't look as great as it could have. And I don't say that about many Nintendo Switch games. I feel Nintendo optimizes games very well, and they usually look very impressive, but not Princess Peach Showtime, and I can't understand for the life of me why. Overall, I found the demo for Princess Peach Showtime to be a good indicator what to expect for the game. The good news is that the gameplay is unique and has a lot of interesting ideas, and I had fun with the levels here, but the spotty performance and low resolution completely caught me off guard. In all honesty, it's not that bad, but it shouldn't be an issue at all. Gameplay is the most important factor, and thankfully, I found Princess Peach Showtime to be quite enjoyable, but I can't say I loved it as much as I thought I would. At least for now, solid 7 out of 10, but it could very well change for the final game. But will it be higher, or will it be lower? The demo is free on the eShop, so go check it out if you haven't. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and as always, keep calm and da-da on.